So I've got to say that I am a little hit and miss when it comes to my fanboy status with Paul Thomas Anderson. I like some of his movies a whole lot, and I think some of his movies are good, but perhaps a little overhyped. But this one, this week, well, I think it's one of his better films. Hey everybody, I'm Sean McBride, the movie guy, and today let's talk about One Battle After Another.
This is Bob Ferguson. I was a part of the French 75.
Bitch, I felt like Tony Montana!
Steve Lockjaw just attacked my home. And I cannot remember, for the life of my only child, the answer to your question.
Maybe you should have studied the rebellion text a little harder.
I need to find my daughter.
Well, then call us back when you have the time.
Did you just...
Leonardo DiCaprio stars in One Battle After Another. Now, he's a guy who 15 years ago was a revolutionary. He was the dude who made the explosives. And he was working with Tiana Taylor. She plays the leader of their group. And basically, they were robbing banks and blowing up buildings and raiding immigration detention centers, basically doing stuff that they thought would make the world a better place. But fast forward 15 years, and now DiCaprio is just kind of a stoner, loser, stay-at-home dad who wants to keep his past in the past and just wants to raise his daughter, who's played by Chase Infinity. Now, the problem is that an old nemesis reappears. He's played by Sean Penn, and he's got a personal vendetta, and he's going to cause problems. So the movie follows DiCaprio's character, who's called Bob, and he is forced to suddenly get back up to speed with his revolutionary ways, but also, get out there and try and figure out, how he's going to save his daughter. And I think it's really good because this is done with a guy who is obviously in way over his head, but he's going to do whatever he can to do what's right for his family. Okay, I apologize if that plot description is a little vague, but I gotta say, I'm very appreciative that Warner Brothers has been promoting this movie and not giving it all away in the trailer. So I'm not gonna spoil anything for you here. But I will say one thing. I think how much you like this movie is going to depend on if you're a Republican or a Democrat, because this is something that I think the lefties will love. It sees the state as the bad guys that need to be rebelled against. And the Republicans will say, well, this is what's wrong with Hollywood. I'm just kind of a film critic in the middle, and so I'm just going to say it's really good filmmaking, and I like it for that reason alone. But I do understand how your political biases may color your appreciation of this movie. This story, and like I said, no spoilers for me, but I appreciate that it's really ambitious. Now, that does also make it long. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes. But the good news is that the pace never really, it works at a very fast pace, except in the middle where it gets, it does a little stoner comedy in the middle. But for the most part, it doesn't feel like 2 hours and 40 minutes. And it has lots to say about the state of the world, about the sins of the fathers being revisited on their children, about what we are obliged to do in the face of a fascist and authoritarian government. And it's just kind of prescient. This film was made before Donald Trump was elected to his second term, but boy, it feels like it's anticipating all of the things that the Trump administration is doing nowadays and commenting, quite frankly, critiquing those things as well. It has some really nice acting here. I mean, look at that cast. DiCaprio is always good. He's playing the shaggy loser of a father who's called back into action here. He does some physical comedy, but he's really good at playing characters, kind of a self-deprecating role here. I think he's great. Sean Penn is amazing playing Colonel Lockjaw, and he is the bad guy. And this film doesn't work without a really formidable bad guy. He is wonderful there. And he's not alone. Look, you get Tiana Taylor, you get Regina Hall, you get Benicio del Toro, and, playing the daughter here is Chase Infinity. Now, she's a newbie, and she's just really natural, really good, just kind of a great breakout performance for her. I think she's someone to watch. Now, like I said, The movie is a little long. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes, but the pacing is fast paced, and so it never feels like it's dragging out, maybe a little bit in the middle. It's got some fun comedy to it. DiCaprio is great at making fun of himself. It's got great acting. It's got some nice action at the end, very intense stuff, very tense thriller here. So I think this is a filmmaker working on all, firing on all cylinders here. I think this is a very good movie. Yeah, what can I say? Sometimes when Paul Thomas Anderson shows up, his films are always, better than the average fare we get in theaters, a little more high-minded than the average fare. But this one, I think, is one of his better movies. I give One Battle After Another 3.5 stars out of 4. Now, I do say that the progressive versus conservative divide will be the litmus test on this movie. I live in Texas. I grew up in Utah. The other place I've spent in my life, a lot of time in my life, is in Idaho, so very Republican state. So I have lots of friends who I think will appreciate the filmmaking on display here, but I also think they may hate this movie. I think it's really good if you're just going to see it for the filmmaking, though. But hey, what do you think? Comment below. And of course, I'd like you to subscribe to my channel so you'll always get my reviews just as soon as they come out. Subscribe to my podcast too. Every week, my friend Joe Fryer and I get together and we review all of the week's big new movies, and we do it in greater detail than I'm able to do here on my YouTube channel. So that's called Two Movie Guys, and you can get it wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, well, we're just getting started here. A lot of big movies out this week, so I will get to most of them. I'll tell you right now, I'm probably not going to review Gabby's Dollhouse. I just would feel weird going in to review a movie that's obviously aimed at 3-year-old girls. I'm sure it's fine if you're a 3-year-old girl. I'm sure if you're a 59-year-old film critic, you're going to feel bad going to this movie. So forgive me, I'm not going to review Gabby's Dollhouse, but I will get to the rest of them, and we'll cover those next. See you then. Bye.